To understand Stephen Strange, you have to look at the environment where he reigns supreme. His entire identity is built on empirical data and the peerless capability of his own hands. That surgical precision brought him immense wealth, but it also built a towering, impenetrable ego. That fragile foundation collapses in seconds. A violent car accident permanently shatters his hands, abruptly ending the only career he ever cared about. Desperate to regain his status, he burns through his vast fortune funding experimental biological treatments. Every single procedure fails completely. By strictly adhering to physical science, Strange exhausts all his options. He is left entirely bankrupt, physically broken, and stripped of the only identity he's ever known. His desperation leads him across the globe. After learning of a paralyzed man who regained the ability to walk in days, Strange spends his last dollar traveling to a hidden enclave. There, he meets the enigmatic Chief Lady, known as the Ancient One. She explains that physical healing flows from spiritual determination and the depth of one's belief. Strange snaps. He aggressively demands logical proof, mocking the entire concept of abstract soul power. To him, if you can't measure it in a lab, it's garbage. At this point, his damaged hands are secondary. Strange's absolute greatest barrier to recovery is his own intellectual arrogance. The Ancient One doesn't argue with him. Instead, she physically ejects his soul straight out of his body. Suddenly adrift in the astral plane, Strange witnesses the true scale of reality. The physical universe he worshipped is revealed to be a microscopic fraction of total existence. His towering ego evaporates. He refuses to leave, begging the Ancient One to teach him. He abandons his medical journals for forbidden magical texts. Instead of biology, he spends every waking hour mastering the theory of mystical enchantments. To force his progress, the Ancient One strands him on the freezing peak of Mount Everest. If he doesn't figure out how to weave a portal, he will literally freeze to death. Strange survives the mountain, but to command these mystical forces, he first had to completely surrender his deep-seated need for scientific control. This animation illustrates the mirror dimension. It shows two intersecting planes, one solid, one wireframe. Practitioners manipulate the wireframe space without damaging our physical world, but this protection is under attack. A rogue student summons the Master of the Dark Dimension to Earth. In the ensuing battle, Strange uncovers a contradictory truth. The Ancient One herself has been secretly drawing her immortality and power directly from that exact same dark dimension to shield Earth. Before she dies from her battle wounds, she imparts a final, difficult lesson. Protecting humanity sometimes requires breaking the very natural laws you swore to uphold. Earth's protectors carry a burden of choice, knowing exactly when to violate natural laws for the greater good. When the Master of the Dark Dimension finally steps onto Earth, the threat is massive. The skies over major populations like New York face complete devastation. Strange knows instantly that no amount of physical combat or surgical precision will stop a godlike entity capable of consuming entire planets. Instead, he turns to a mystical artifact worn around his neck. He manipulates the flow of time, overriding the natural progression of reality. He is now actively weaponizing the Ancient One's final lesson, hacking the underlying mechanics of the universe to save it. This diagram shows how Strange entraps the entity. The timeline moves forward, hits a magical wall, and loops back into an infinite circle. Within this temporal prison, Strange intentionally lets the entity violently kill him. Every time he dies, the loop resets. Unable to break the mechanics of the time loop, the all-powerful entity is trapped in endless repetition. Exhausted and outmatched by sheer persistence, it is forced to surrender and abandon Earth. The world's most arrogant surgeon achieved his ultimate victory by embracing endless suffering, the ultimate death of his ego.